Hello, beautiful collective. I am getting that many of you are testing out new wings. Wings is what I am hearing. And I someone may even have been in some kind of injury accident or had a situation from birth in which they are actually getting an artificial limb. I know that sounds very specific, um, and it is. So, if that is you, please leave a comment. I would love to know how you're doing. Um, for others, it's a little more of, no, not a metaphor, but your energy body has literally acquired wings and you are testing out flying for the first time, is what I'm hearing. Have you ever had a dream that you could fly? I love dreams like that. I love them. I have always wished I could fly. And there are some in this collective who may even remember being able to fly in a previous life. That's interesting. But the wings that you are testing out right now are allowing you to ascend beyond your present circumstances. And I see you like rising above treetops and like cresting over the top of a mountain. And it's like you thought the mountain was the point or the goal. And when you get to the top of the mountain and rise above it, you're looking down and you're like seeing whole mountain ranges and whole, it's like you're seeing so many other goals. You're realizing that it was never about that one goal. It was about the ascension process, about the journey. It's not just a trite phrase. It's true. It's what life is about. It's not the end result. It's the process of transformation. That is why we are here. Because remember, the end result is only not only, but it is the final stage of manifestation. It's that final concrete version of the original thought form. But I'm hearing we never want you to forget the beauty of the origin of that thought form. That is the whole point of this process. Well, my cat was being a diva and crying outside the door, so I had to go and let her in. So I think that was a good a breaking point, because that was truly the end of that transmission. So let's get into the cards here and ask what else is going on for this collective right now. Ooh, okay. Are you working behind the scenes on something? Look at that eye. It's like pretty soon eyes are going to be on you, or someone is observing your process, and part of their karmic journey and lessons that they came here to learn is to watch your process. I'm even seeing, there's struggle in this card, and is it necessary or unnecessary? I think that's for you to decide. In some ways, it's about your perspective and what you're doing. Again, if we're talking about process, struggle is often resistance to the allowing of process to unfold, right? This person, in some ways, is like trying to do it all on their own, and they don't need to. So there's kind of a hidden element to it, like almost like you don't want people to see the messy side of what it takes to get to where you want to go. I think that's okay on some levels, because there is going to be a moment when you are like launched fully and people see you and they're actually astonished because they had no idea how much work you put into it and what you have done in the background. And even if you did your best or doing your best to be transparent about it, there are people who like don't care enough to pay attention or dismissed it and they're still not seeing. So that is some of the hiddenness as well. It's not all you. It's how people in your environment are choosing to observe or not observe the effort that you are putting in, and acknowledge that when you achieve your inevitable success, and I'm getting shivers here, it's really already upon you. Some of them are going to be moved by your story and inspired to undergo their own transformation. And that's why they are. Oh God, this is really making me shake. Okay, so this is definitely for someone or some ones in the collective, but they are bearing witness is what I'm hearing. And that phrase is like really, really important. It sounds almost like biblical or like ancient verse. Like they are bearing witness to your ascension. And that is actually your gift to them to help them understand how they too can ascend. That is for some people in this collective. Those are the ones who might be triggered into jealousy of you, or they might be triggered into inspiration, depending on if they have a lack mindset, which is really the basis of jealousy, right? Like there's not enough for me, not enough to go around, versus inspiration. Wow, look at what that person's doing. That means it's possible. That means it's out there. That means I could have it too, or my version of that. There are others who are going to observe your success and almost feel angry, resentful about it. And those are the ones who didn't observe what you were doing in the background, or observed it and dismissed it and chose not to see and appreciate and acknowledge how much hard work and effort you have put into becoming who you are now. Either way, none of these people, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but none of them are relevant to your journey. This is just an understanding. If you are getting, like I'm hearing almost like white noise static, like you're getting certain buzz in the environment from people around you, know that it's because part of your karmic path is to perform this role for others so that they can react. They can be triggered. They can be moved. Got a cat right here. Is herself very triggered whenever she's not the center of attention. Oh my God. So this is Miss Juniper. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So yeah, it feels right now like your success truly is inevitable. But don't be surprised by a range of reactions when you do launch yourself, because oh gosh, I'm getting that some of your karmic journey is to work miracles for others. Like you are the miracle. I think you're doing something that's just really unexpected to people. Like maybe because you were in an environment before that required you, or sort of gaslit you, or in some way made you act like a lesser version of yourself. People assumed that you were that lesser version. Maybe you were more awkward or quieter or angrier or more triggered yourself, or just not showing up the way you would want to show up. Now you are like in your queendom, your kingdom. I see you like creating your own royal court, your own following. You have built your kingdom, literally. I'm hearing like if you build it, they will come. And indeed they will. And in so doing, you're showing people that it's possible to work outside of the system, even if you are still using systems. You're just learning how to use those systems to your benefit. You know, here I am making a video. I'm doing this on my own terms, but I'm still using a shared platform that I don't own, that is run by a corporation. That could be a whole other video about, kind of how we participate in platforms, and I don't know, the ethics of that. I don't know. Ethics isn't even the word I want to use, but I hope you know what I mean. But it's how we are choosing to show up in the environment that is really transforming the nature of the structures that we work with by default. So I'm hearing your ascension process is a rude awakening to others. Somebody needs like a kick in the pants, literally, and watching you is like literally going to be creating gaping open mouths. Like people like they cannot believe what you are doing. And not because you're doing anything bad, but because you're like radiating. You're like 0 to 100, this diva. Like, where the hell did this person come from? I thought this little meek person in collective here was so quiet, so reserved, so retiring, so awkward, so incompetent, whatever. And here you are showing up in your sovereignty and radiating. And people are just like blown away. And I don't think I said this before. If you're here, you're meant to be here. This message always finds you at exactly the right time. But I do feel a large part of this collective that is experiencing this are those in Group 7. And this is a name that comes back to me periodically. And I don't always get into it because I don't want us to get too stuck on labels, but they're saying, go ahead, it can't hurt just to mention it. I'm like, okay. So part of this glow up is showing up in a kind of gentle radiance. Group 7 are collective light leaders whose mission is to break the pattern or mold that leadership has to be aggressive, that leadership has to be domineering, that leadership has to be cruel in order to succeed. In fact, the definition of success is evolving. Our mission is to laugh. It's to be playful. It's to bring joy. It's to remind people of their own capacity for joy. It's to remind people that the end goal is not the point. Delayed happiness is not the point. Saying to yourself, if I just do this, this, and this, and this, when I get here, I can be happy. Saying, no, you want to need to be happy right now. Your soul is craving it. You don't have time to waste on putting aside your glow for a perceived end result that may never come, or when it comes, it's not going to be what you think it is. Because you're putting your value into this moment that doesn't exist yet, rather than this moment right here. How can you get to that moment when your present moment is not in alignment with a trajectory that you want to be on? How can you move towards happiness if your current path isn't happy? Right? And this message isn't meant to chastise anyone. It's not meant to be cruel, mean, judgmental in any way. That is not what Group 7 is about. We are showing, we are indicating, we're demonstrating, we are exempling. It's not a word, but that's what I'm hearing. We are exempling ourselves and our ability to transmute and transmit joy through being. and not necessarily doing, though there is some doing, but a lot of it, most of it really, is simply in existing. And existing in our gentleness, existing in our joy, is the balm that heals the world. And I want you to ask yourself, not in a scary way, but like, imagine you were on your deathbed. Do you really think you would look back and think, thank goodness I spent one more day at that horrible job. Thank goodness I suffered so I could achieve X number of dollars. I just don't think so. I think we're going to look back and say, thank goodness I connected with that old friend. Thank goodness I gave that new career a chance. Thank goodness I stepped out of my comfort zone and realized I was capable of so much more than I ever thought I could be. The moments that define worship are the moments where we feel the most fully alive. And we feel the most fully alive when we are in direct alignment with our soul's purpose. And soul purpose oftentimes can line up with a vocation in this 3D world that is tied to a monetary amount, but just as often, it will have no connection to a monetary amount or a vocation. Sometimes it's both. The point being that what we came here to do is not going to fit any mold or relevance in the old system of economic value. Don't worry about wealth. You're generating it all the time. I really want this collective to break through the mold because this is part of how you're freeing others from their own imprisonment. We have no problem taking care of ourselves and each other. That's never going to be an issue. You're always safe, always cared for, always protective. There's always a way forward. There's always an opportunity. There's always a net. The net is you. You're never going to be left wanting. But in the new world that we are building together, there's no more room for the kind of enslavement that comes at the expense of our happiness. The kind of enslavement that trains us to hold ourselves enthralled to a perceived oppressor. New Earth has no frequency match to oppressors. It doesn't. In that world, the world you are making, that kind of dynamic has no relevance because when we exist in our self-sovereignty, which is part of the ascension you're in right now, we are fully supported in our abundance. Your attraction point becomes just inevitable. People can't help wanting to see things they love flourish and people they love flourish. I'm sure you've experienced this yourself. If you are here, you know you have. You are embracing that fire in you and honoring that truth in you that is that point of attraction for inevitable abundance in all its forms. So I want you to give yourself a big hug. Be very, very proud of the transformation process you have not given up on. I almost said hard work, but that's really like an old language. It's not really work. It's not. We really need to redefine our words. And we are. But the transformation process that you have held yourself accountable to, I just want to cry. You have done so well. You really have. And if nobody has told you you've done a good job, I want to tell you you've done a really good job. And I'm very proud of you. Your guides are proud of you. Your higher self is rooting for you every day. And every day that you show up, every day that you bring your gentle smile, your sunshine, even your tears, when people see that you exist in the fullness of your being, you heal them. You give them permission to be authentic themselves. And you give them permission to break the pattern and step outside of this perception of imprisonment. Because at its core, we are only imprisoned insofar as we give our power away to others. It's like, I think it's the Eight of Swords. It's like the card in the tarot where the woman is blindfolded, but she could walk away at any time. There's nothing actually chaining her except her own belief that she is in chains. And so you showing up and being you doing the thing, you having fun and doing it and getting paid to have fun and doing it. You are showing others that they too get to decide the trajectory of their lives and they are not stuck. They're not imprisoned. They're nobody's slave. They're not oppressed by anybody, not if they don't choose to be. All right. I love you guys. See you in the next video.